This morning on Inside the Game, the MLS taxed 3 more games on Luis Suarez's punishment on top of his already 6-game League Cup ban. The U.S. men's national team faces off against Japan in Columbus tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Is Neymar a billionaire? We fact-checked the viral inheritance story, and VO's Dan Panisi joins us right here live.
Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. It is episode number 154 here on Inside the Game. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Ryan Glinsky. Nathan Wangler is on vacation, at least through the rest of today. But either way, we're happy to have you. You're watching live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Roku TV. And we will continue on here this morning talking about a number of things related to U.S. men's soccer. It only continues to get better. I feel like every single day now, Ryan, Pochettino has a new and creative way to make an ass of himself. We'll talk about that this morning. Luis Suarez, the spitting bans continue. We'll dive into that this morning as he gets the MLS has set their suspension ban with him yesterday. Again, the U.S. men's national team played Japan here tonight. And it's in Columbus. It's a lower.com field. And Ryan and I, as soon as this show is done, we'll have a couple housekeeping things to do here in the studio. And then we will be making our way to where? To the game. We are going to Columbus tonight to watch this game, to watch this team in person. We'll keep track of it all on social media. But we're excited. I am wearing my U.S. soccer T-shirt here today. Ryan is wearing his
that's blue
champion blue.
We're champions.
Pullover.
We're champions. So that's what I'm hoping. We get a victory tonight. But yeah, make sure you stay tuned to all National Soccer Network socials. If you haven't followed us on TikTok, I don't know what you guys are doing because we have been producing banging video after banging video. Get us to, I think we're close to 700. Yeah, get us to 700 by like the end of the day. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, we're only we're 10 away. Yeah, 10
away. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. We're like 10 followers away. So, but no, it's going to be fun tonight. I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah, we've got just under 11,000 subscribers on YouTube. Our social media has been growing. And so, yeah, keep it coming. We really appreciate it. And, I think the other thing, too, is at the bottom of your screen, we have all of our current advertisers. And take a look at those. There's a lot of cases, there's some savings for you, whether that be savings on a particular product or on a destination, right? And that's the really cool thing about all of our advertisers. Check those out. They'll be at the bottom of your screen on our YouTube, Roku TV, and Facebook and Twitter feed, not on TikTok. But there is a way for us to do this on TikTok where we could actually have our feed, the live feed of what we're doing.
But we're not that smart yet.
No, we are. I just say
it's not that smart yet.
It's a process, as they say over in Canada.
It's a process.
It's a process. But we got a great show lined up for you this morning. Something that was interesting yesterday. We were sitting here in our studios, and 2 weeks ago, I had asked Ryan, I'd asked Nathan, I asked a number of our people and said, hey, who wants to go to the U.S. men's national team game? And obviously everybody rose their hand for the most part. And we tried to go the credential route. I reached out to U.S. Soccer. I think I called their headquarters, by the way, probably 27 times. And every single time I called their headquarters and clicked on the receptionist tab, which is what it told me to do, it never rang and just completely hung up. And so so this is
if you hold on, I'm gonna make a joke real quick. If you criticize the receptionist, they're gonna come out and say something.
I'm not trying to. I don't know if it's receptionist or reception. Doesn't matter. Operator. I never went through, and I never got a chance to talk to me. I also emailed U.S. Soccer as well 4 separate times and got no answers. So we instead purchased tickets to go to this event here tonight. We are sitting third row. And for those that saw our Instagram and shorts yesterday, I put 2 fingers up when I said third row, but it's actually 3 fingers for third row. So I wanted to clarify that. Thank you, AJ Rowley, for calling me out yesterday on my own personal Facebook page for that. So I'm calling him out here today. But we are going to the game. We did it yesterday here in studio. I literally, just before we recorded that video, I was literally purchasing the tickets.
Question. Yeah. Have you been to a U.S. soccer game ever?
I have never been to a U.S. soccer game. And mainly because in 1994, when the World Cup came here, like a lot of us during the summer, what are you doing if you're a young player? You're playing. And so I didn't have the opportunity to to go and watch the games here locally. And so there hasn't been a World Cup since. Now there's been Women's World Cups, and I don't think they've never played a game here. And so for me, it was always watching from afar. And now that this game's in Columbus, it's nice weather. It's an international friendly. I get a chance to go do that. So absolutely excited to go do that tonight.
Yeah, I got a chance to go to the U.S. El Salvador World Cup qualifier back in, I think, winter of 2022. I believe. I was a freshman in college, so that's the way I remember it. And it basically was the day before. One of my friends who actually I've been talking to, I reopened up the group chat because there's 4 or 5 of us that went. I go, guys, you won't believe where I'm going tomorrow. And I reopened to them. They're all doing good. So good to connect with them. But it was basically the day before. One of the kids, he lived the floor below me, and he goes, Ryan, my brother can't go. Do you want to go to the game? And I go, yeah, sure. When is he? He goes, tomorrow. I'm like, all right, looks like I got to skip out on something that I already planned on. And we went. We got there 10 minutes before they walked out. But it was. I've been to the Big House for a Michigan football game many of times. I've been to Chrysler Center for Michigan basketball games many of times. I've been to a couple Lions games. I've been to Pistons games. I've been to Red Wings games. However, with the 13 or 14,000 people that seats, that was the best sporting environment that I've ever been in. That World Cup qualifier, that's the best environment that I've ever been in. Soccer environment is up here. And as much as I love college football is here, and a World Cup qualifier is up here. I'm just saying in terms of environment.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I've never been in that environment, but we are going to be sitting right in front of the American Outlaws, which is the supporters group of U.S. Soccer. So we'll be not too far away from them, which puts us in a really good place. So, and we're, again, excited about that. Coming up here on the other side of this break, we'll be joined here by Veo and our partner, Dan Panisi, and we'll discuss what's going on in the AI world of cameras in the youth environment and how that's helping players and teams all across this country. So don't go anywhere. On the other side of the break, Dan Panisi from Veo.
Flint City Bucks are Michigan's top soccer franchise with 4 national championships, 9 conference titles, and 15 Great Lakes Division titles. They have produced 107 players for Major League Soccer, and they focus on attracting top talent and shaping soccer's future. Michigan Bucks Academy joins NLS Next new competition tier starting in September of 2025. This offers elevated levels of play and flexibility for high school participation. The Academy will provide premier development, high-performance training, and exposure to scouts through regional tournaments and MLS Next events. For more information on tryouts, training programs, and key updates as we prepare for our first season in MLS Next new tier, visit MichiganBucksAcademy.com.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game, episode 154. And now I'm joined by Dan Panisi from Veo. And Dan, first off, welcome to Inside the Game.
Yeah, John, I appreciate you having me on today.
Well, we are excited to have you on. And Veo has been the leader in AI camera technology really since the onset. And again, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was the leader in the camera component. And now being that there's the analytical aspect of this also there as well in the mix.
Yeah, correct. So Veo started with the hardware and they continue to produce software for analytics as well. So we see Veo not just a leader within.
Did he freeze?
Oh, you got me back?
Yeah, you're good. Sorry, go ahead.
So Veo definitely the leader within hardware, and now we have team analytics and individual player analytics too. So we continue to make strides within our software as well.
You know, this is something that when I was a coach at that time, I don't know if Veo was even around. It was 2014 when I became a head coach, a varsity head coach at Birmingham Groves High School, and at that time. I think it was going into my second year, we were looking for an analytical component to help us with our program. And at that time it was Huddle. And so they offered like a Huddle with an iPad they sent my way. And I could not live stream it. It was like a recorded down there and then you uploaded it. It took like 6 hours to record or upload into my at my house. And I had the fastest internet at the time, by the way. But the cool thing about it was within within a couple days, I would have like this full data report of like passes and complete. It was really, really kind of a cool thing that you were able to do. And obviously, there's a number of camera companies now that offer these types of solutions. But what sets Veo apart from the other ones, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, you all offer very similar type things, right? You all offer a camera component. You all now have analytics. You can all offer a little highlight clips. What separates Veo from the other ones?
Yeah, great question, John. In my mind, there's two major points, and it's not so much when we dig into little details. I'm going to be a little more broad here. First one is just quality. I think the quality of people that are designing the hardware and software within the Copenhagen office, and then also the quality, you can see it within the camera, right? The way that the camera is able to track the ball, the way that the quality of the picture, not just with a Veo 3 camera, but even with the Veo 2 camera as well, it beats all of our competitors. The ease of setup, that is just quality experience. And then the second thing that I think of when I think of Veo and just being above the rest of the competition is now looking at where we're going. The way that we produce things with AI, if it's going to be breaking down with all of our analytics for the whole team, individuals, but what we have upcoming that I can't really talk about too much. There's one aspect that we have that's within the platform right now. It's called Coach Assist. So now coaches are able to put in, hey, this is the way that we're trying to play. And Veo with Coach Assist will produce recommendations, not telling coaches how to coach, but making it easier for them to say, hey, maybe I should be doing this in training, or what are trends that AI is seeing within our matches. So that is out right now and just for testing. But the way that Veo continues to push limits through AI and the next steps, I think is way beyond our competition.
I would imagine that some of the big, and I had this conversation with clubs all across the country, coaches as well. And I think that the biggest challenge that this is that you face, that all organizations face, is the willingness of a coach to take on this role, right? Because for we talk about it all the time, there's great teachers out there, right? They're really great. They have all these great tools and resources. They use everything they possibly can to make their classroom the best. And then you have the ones who are like, I show up, I get my paycheck, I'm a teacher, I'll teach, but I'm not like, I'm not going to go above and beyond. And not to say that's a bad, I do think it may be bad on some level. It's just how it is, right? You've got good, bad, you've got better, right? And so, to be fair, I don't think we're speaking to the coaches who care about all of this. I think we're speaking to the coaches who are in that middle right now, the ones who are like, you know what, I love coaching, I love what I do, but I don't know if I have the time, I don't have the ability maybe, I don't have the know-it-all to set this thing up. Maybe all those other things that might be maybe prohibiting them from doing this. What's the message to that coach who's like in that realm right now, where I think a vast majority of coaches are at? Where they're like, hey, I love coaching, but I just don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can set this thing up. I don't know if I can, do all the things that are associated with this.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think within youth soccer right now in the States, video is just minimum standard. So those that want to capture footage of their kids, of players, that is just bare minimum. So even if you're a coach that doesn't want to do anything else besides be on the field and coach, parents are going to ask. And at the end of the day, if you want to retain players at your club, you have to provide a service for them. That's going to be a little bit different than other clubs. And for the coach that doesn't want to go through all these steps, with VO, with what we provide, you can have parents set up the camera. You can have everything done for you. And VO does the work for you in terms of analytics for team, for player, capturing it. So it is really easy to get it all situated. There's not a huge issue trying to get parents. Parents are very eager within the soccer world just to get extra resources for their kids and for the team. So as long as you're able to go and ask questions or delegate, you're totally fine.
Which, again, I would imagine that is a case for a lot of these teams and clubs. Again, I talked with it just here last week with a club. They're like, hey, we make it mandatory, but does that mean it's even going to happen?
Yeah.
And we this past summer we dealt with the WPSL League for Clubs. We dealt with UPSL. All these leagues have made streaming mandatory, right? It's mandatory, right? You are required to stream, and so they don't tell you how. They just say you're required, which I think and I've talked about this with leagues all the time. I go, you can't make something mandatory if you don't actually give them the resources in order to do it, right? To pull it off, because I've been doing this long enough to know that just because you say it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And then more importantly, what's the resources? What's the tools? And there are obviously resources and tools that are available to allow teams to live stream like this. And what we found this summer when we were dealing with the teams that had access to a Huddle, a Veo, a Spidio, probably 80% of those teams had no idea how to assist us in the process. Okay. And so we had to take over in a lot of cases. We had to get access to their VO Clubhouse. We had to get access into their Huddle TV account, right? And their back end, right? The V Cloud, as it's called, right? We had to get access to these environments to set these cameras up because they just couldn't do it. The question I have for you is this. Is there at some point in time, is Veo going to get into the world of maybe helping production companies like me with a platform that I can just tap into? Because I'm telling you, trying to get their login information and trying to get it all set up to make these streams work has been one of our biggest challenges. It's been rewarding when we get it to work, because you'll go watch our games from this summer. I would argue that probably 60% of them had the Veo logo in the right hand corner. Right. And so, and so I'm curious your thoughts. Are we going to get that for us? At least for me. I don't care about anybody else's production company, but I want it for me.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I think out of all the companies, we'd probably be the closest to it, just because of how innovative our leadership thinks and what they would like to do and how they want to bring access to, if it's live streaming, if it's going to be a production within matches, to the mass audience. So I think we'd be the closest. I don't have a specific timeline for you, John. Wish I did.
I need it tomorrow, Dan. Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had it tomorrow, it would be great. But I do think that there's conversations to be had to continue to push the agenda of bringing soccer to a mass audience through production, through our live streaming.
And again, it's one of those things too. We have a lot of great partnerships in the soccer space. One with Veo, where now if you go on our website and you are looking to purchase a camera for your club, your team, hey, if your mom or dad out there, I think that there's this mindset this is for clubs only or for teams only. I mean, there are moms and dads out there who I have seen setting up a Veo camera that they have purchased on their own, and they do that because they want their child, if their coach doesn't have this, to have film. Have this game film. And while we can argue that, having a Panasonic, camcorder with, 18 times zoom and all the bells and whistles is far better than any IA camera on the market, this solves a problem. The problem, which is all you got to do is just set up a camera and walk away. I mean, there's no more. You set up and walk away. I mean, you've taken away the human aspect of this, which is sometimes extremely hard to find in our world. Finding a camera operator can be one of the hardest and most challenging things. And so, having an AI camera can solve that problem because the game is still going to happen. And that's something that we used to talk about a lot here internally about how, hey, we're always going to use, manned camera operators and real cameras. And while our goal is to always do that, the game is still going to happen whether I have a camera there or not. And so at the end of the day, we said, well, let's make sure we have, a camera, any camera to capture this event, because at least then it's being captured. And I don't know what your percentages are. You probably know how many cameras are out there in the world, and not that you need to share that with me, but how many cameras do you think right now are live streaming? If you had put a percentage on it across the entire country, is it 10%? Is it 15%? What's the number of clubs and or teams that are actually live streaming their games?
Yeah, it's a great question. If I had to put a number on it right now, within the last year, because we've been having a major push, I would say 25%. And that's because of the push of saying, hey, this is accessible to clubs. And the way that we price it out for VO cameras, we make it very accessible just to add it on. Obviously, it depends on your coverage and what provider you're going with, because you plug in a SIM card in the back. It can be T-Mobile, it could be Verizon, it could be Mint Mobile. Depends on who you're working with. But yeah, I would say 25% the past year. It definitely grew from 10 to 15% though.
Is there a plan for Veo to get into the bonded technology aspect of this as well, where you're utilizing multiple SIM cards?
I don't think so right now. That's not within the roadmap from what we've been talking about. So there's other priorities. And John, if you don't mind, just one big priority is our Veo Go. And I know you were mentioning within parents wanting a camera or something to record. So it's interesting enough, we just released this September 2nd, and the Veo Go is essentially now, you don't have to purchase a camera that looks like thousands of dollars. You are now purchasing the software and then a tripod with a phone mount. So you can have 2 iPhones that are on the phone mount, and then that will record the game. You'll hook it up with another phone, so 3 phones to get it all situated. If you have one from one parent, one from another parent, you stick it on the tripod, and then from there, you're able to record your match. Now you're able to do that for under $500 a year. So when you talk about accessibility for parents, for teams, the recreational level, just to get footage, this is a no-brainer. And I think it's going to rock the recreational youth soccer market for sure.
So it looks like you are looking to compete with like the likes of XBot Go.
Yep, exactly. And what I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, just the quality. If you see the quality of the Veo Go, everyone knows the quality of their camera on their iPhone, right? It's top quality. So just being able to utilize our software and stitch that all together, I think it's going to be the best in the market, which I think it is right now, but it just got released and we'll see how it goes.
No, it's really, really cool. I was not aware of that new technology, which is really cool. Again, it solves a problem, right? Because again, to buy these cameras, if you're a club, you're investing $2,000-$3,000 to get the camera, and then you're paying a monthly fee to have access to the systems and resources that support that camera and allow players, coaches, and the club to access the analytical component of this as well. And so, giving this solution, it solves a number of problems, especially for those single teams who are looking for coverage of their games. And so it's a phenomenal product, and I'm excited to have a chance to take a look at it and put it to the test here in our space and in what we do. You know,
Yeah.
we ask a lot of questions here, and I'm going to ask you two final questions. The U.S. men's national team is playing here in Japan tonight. They're doing so in Columbus, Ohio, at Lord.com field. My question for you is this: who wins tonight, and what's the score?
I'm gonna go. The U.S. wins tonight. I'm gonna flip the score from South Korea and say we win 2-0.
Oh, 2-0. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So Dan
You
Panisi
mark it down.
is saying U.S. men's soccer team wins 2-0. Now, just so you know, on Friday I said they were going to win 3-0 today, so you're not in bad company. That was
there you
before
go.
what happened on Saturday, so I'm not changing my prediction, but I'm definitely rethinking it. And then my thought process. My last question is this: we ask everybody that joins us, at least we try to. You know, if today was your last day on Earth, and you knew you had your last meal,
Damn, this
what would it be?
So I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and I come from Italian background. I'm taking my mom's Italian. If I'm gonna go pasta and meatballs, that's it. That is last
I like
meal on
that.
Earth.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, when he said he was from Philadelphia, I was getting this expectation that he was gonna go with a Philly cheesesteak.
That's
Just the way
exactly
you
what
let
I
it,
thought.
though. I felt like you were gonna go that direction.
Twist.
He threw in the
Yeah,
twist.
a little bit of a
All right,
twist.
all right.
Yeah.
I was not aware that Philadelphia was known for their Italian meatballs. Were you known, Ryan?
I would not have. Nah,
But
not
it's
at all.
the Italian heritage is all.
It's the
within
mom
South
spaghetti.
Philly.
You know.
Yeah, the mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah.
There is a mom
You
spaghetti
got it.
here in Detroit, but Eminem's mother is mom
Yep.
spaghetti. But
Yeah, have you had that, Dan? Mom spaghetti?
I mean, just my own mom spaghetti. That's it.
no,
Oh,
he hasn't.
okay.
He hasn't. He has not had Eminem's mom spaghetti, which, by the way,
Yeah.
I've heard is good. I guess, but it also depends on the sauce. So, sauce is everything when it comes to the spaghetti. I know we talk about the noodles, but if the sauce is too rich, it's not sweet. You know, there's a number of ways you can go with it. So,
Dan, I got a question for you. So one of my roommates in college, Italian, and I would always mess with him, and I'd like break the noodles. Is that really frowned upon?
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I was
it
doing a really
definitely is
good job to
frowned
annoy him.
And just to throw you another twist, this might be just our own family, and so it might be a little weird. The sauce, we don't call it sauce, we call it gravy. So I know gravy is brown gravy, but the red sauce, we still call that gravy. That might be a Panisi family thing, because I've asked other Italians, and they're like, no, it's sauce. But then I've asked other Italians, and they're like, no, we call it gravy too. So Ryan, you got to
I think it's important I say this. My mom and dad recently did that 24 you and me thing. My entire
Okay.
life, up until about 2 years ago, I was told that I was Italian. And come to find out, I have zero Italian in me. So, being that you just said gravy, you might be German.
Well,
Have
so we
had
have
to look-
we have a little bit of a Polish side to us, but we don't really like to talk about it too much.
Did you say you have a Polish side, Dan?
He did. He did.
Ah, come on. I'm Polish too. You gotta.
Come on, you got to have the one. We stick with one, and we talk about it the most. We don't really talk about our Polish side.
Yeah, they may throw the kielbasa every once in a while on a pasta dish.
It stinks, but it's good.
Well, Dan, hey, we appreciate you stopping on by. And we will continue to talk about our great partnership with Veo. Dan, you're always welcome to be a part of what we're doing. Hey, every time you have a launch, let us know. We'll happy to bring you on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll get you a Veo Go camera or the tripod and all, and you can unbox it right on the episode.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Dan. We appreciate you. You've been watching episode 154. We come back. We'll talk U.S. men's national team. We'll talk Luis Suarez again, and we'll continue to dive into Pochettino and his nonsense. We're back.
Experience the thrill that came like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Welcome back here into Inside the Game. Jonathan Turner alongside Ryan Glinsky, Nathan Wangler on vacation up north here this Tuesday, enjoying some family time. We even just texted him, and he's even saying like there's like most parts of northern Michigan, shitty service.
Yeah, he says North Country Trail at the moment. I don't even know what that means, but
I'm assuming he's walking a trail.
yeah, that'd be sweet if he did a score prediction.
I think so too. You can record it anywhere and just send it later. It's all good. We can make it work.
Yeah, hope he's having a good time though.
The crazy thing is we already have the video, so we could just take the video from last Friday where we all talk scores. So, or did we do it on Friday? I thought we did it on Friday.
We did Friday for Korea.
We didn't do it.
I don't think we did Japan. I don't think we did.
Well, fair enough.
But
either way, Luis Suarez is still in the news. He's still in the news. All right. I feel like MLS's League Cups is dragging this out for as long as they possibly can. But yesterday, it was announced in the afternoon that MLS adds three-game ban Inter Miami's Luis Suarez's 6-game League Cup suspension. That will also stand. So in total, he'll have 9 games that he'll be suspended for, of which 3 of those this season and 6 next year in the League Cup. And so he'll be completely banned from that League Cup. I think they only have 6 games in the League Cup. That includes the final. So he will completely be banned for that entire event next year and 3 games here this season. Now, we talked about the ban. We talked about my thought process. I thought he should be done the rest of the season. When you spit at another person at the conclusion of a game, that is a non-soccer act, and that deserves a punishment that I believe is the most severe one you can get, which is to be, you're done for the season. I even argue you should be done for the MLS forever. I mean, you lose the right when you start assaulting people like that, but obviously the MLS does not share the same sentiments that I do. They're also looking at it from the standpoint of money, right? And, what do you do here? You don't lose so much money when Luis Suarez, but his contract is also up this year. So maybe they're just like, hey, whatever, it'll maybe work itself out on its own and we won't look like the bad guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to search up how many times Suarez has been suspended in his career. I'm really wondering. So he had a 4-month ban in 2014 because he bit Chiellini. So maybe Suarez likes Italian food as well. And then 9-game suspension over the games there. So with this one, and I can't find anything he had for biting Ivanovic of Chelsea, but I want to make a TikTok here shortly, probably by the end of the week at least, of just the top 5 moments of Luis Suarez's career where he gets suspended, because there are some good ones. There's some really good ones. The Uruguay one in 2010, Ivanovic biting, Chiellini biting. I don't know exactly the player who he bit when he was at Ajax. And then this one I think is just dumb. Like, it's just, you're upset during a game and then you just spit on someone, and we all kind of knew that it wasn't going to be anything severe with this punishment at all, and it just happens. But I really want to make a top 5 moment of Luis Suarez's career, and if anyone in, whether that's any of the live chats right now, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, anything, put down your favorite moments so I can kind of compile a list here, because there are some good ones.
There are. And if we had an entire show dedicated to it, I don't know if we'd have enough time to get through it.
No.
That's how many suspensions this man has. But, again, I also think it's somebody said that there are players out there that they lose their composure because of how much they love to play the game. And I think that that's also something that could be talked about here as well. But, again,
some of these are just biting. Like, you can lose your cool, but you don't go out and just bite someone. Like, that doesn't, I don't know. Suarez is just an interesting character. He's just an interesting.
Again, I have no interest in biting another man after running 45 minutes on a soccer field. But that's just, it's my personal cup of tea. But everyone's a little different. But either way, Suarez is suspended for 3 more games. We'll keep an eye on whether or not after the 3 games he continues his appetite of spitting and biting. With that being said, we're going to move now into this other story here. Now, this is an interesting one. Is Neymar a billionaire now? Is he in fact a billionaire?
Quite possibly.
So Neymar is the heir of a billionaire. Brazilian footballer Neymar is the sole heir to a Brazilian billionaire's estate. The 31-year-old businessman passed away and filed his will this past June. The reported inheritance is between $846 million to $1 billion. The billionaire had no reported children or spouse. He is a big admirer of Neymar, who moved back to his boyhood club, Santos, this past year. One quote from the unnamed businessman: "I like Neymar. I identify with him a lot. He is self-serving, something rare these days." This is in fact true, by the way.
Yeah, this is.
I have a significant problem with this. Now, granted, here's where my problem lies, and Neymar can solve it. If you're Neymar, you immediately take all this money and give it away. Right? I mean, give it away to charitable places and help solve a whole bunch of problems.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Neymar and you accept all this money and you don't do that, then this guy, what was he thinking? Because clearly he's thinking that Neymar is this unbelievable person who's going to do just that. But I also don't understand why you wouldn't just make him the executor of this will in that case, or make create some kind of a nonprofit that is named after Neymar. I don't know the gist of all this. It seems kind of a weird thing to do, but it is real. And Neymar, who's already worth $300 million,
$350
makes about $76 million a year. I mean, this immediately makes him a billionaire, as we alluded to. The curious thing is, what will he do with it? Has Neymar made any statements about this at all?
No, not that I know of. I can absolutely search it up, but there's a billionaire out there likes us, don't have any children or spouses. You can hit us up. We could be the hair, and we would do a charity.
Absolutely. I'd take $100 million first, and then I'd absolutely take.
But like, you just gotta think though. Like, if you're Neymar, you're also kind of in a bad spot. Like, you just wake up, you just moved back to Brazil. You played a decade overseas with Barcelona, PSG. Yeah, Barcelona and PSG. Was there another team in there? There had to have been another team in there.
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember. I think it was just Barcelona and PSG. But anyway, like, you're kind of just put in this bad spot because are you just going to accept all that money, or are you just going to, maybe donate a little bit of it, open up your own charity, open up your own fund to donate to people, have your own charity fund. But like, it's just kind of like, you're so lucky for it, but at the same time, like, I feel like there's a lot of things that have to go into a lot of legal things, and he's just moved back to just chill out, ride out the twilight of his career, maybe prepare for another last run in the World Cup. Or did he say he's not doing the World Cup anymore? Because
I don't know.
Because at the end of 2022, I do know, like, he was kind of fed up, kind of with what Messi was in 2018 in the World Cup. Neymar kind of said he was fed up with, how the Brazilian media treated him and how he was supposed to be this next Pele, next Messi, those type of players. And he just kind of didn't live up to it and didn't like all those expectations. But, I mean, I think Neymar would kind of, maybe donate a little bit or create his own fund, whether that is, or his own project. But I think he's definitely going to pocket some of it. I mean, I don't know which person wouldn't, but it's an interesting situation and something that you don't really hear about at all ever in sports. Like, what American athlete, Jared Goff, will take him, for instance, just randomly gets $1 billion because he's a hair of a billionaire who just likes him. Like, I've never seen that.
I haven't. Well, I mean, you've heard of these things you've heard of these things in the past. You've heard of, and to be fair, it happens all the time at the university level in this country, right? Where you've got, or a nonprofit, where you have someone who's 85 years old, they've got $100 million left, and they decide to just leave it all to the university to donate to the athletic department. I mean, you hear about these things all the time. You don't typically hear about it being given to a professional athlete who already has millions of dollars. Who isn't necessarily a charitable organization. So it's an interesting thing. The culture there is very different. My wife's Brazilian. I can tell you that in Brazil, there's something called Brazil time. Okay. And so that just means that they just, it might be 9 a.m. here. To them, they're supposed to be there at 9 a.m. here, but in their time, it's 9:15. So they show up 15 minutes late. Oh. And so we call that Brazil time. They're on Brazil time. So things might be a little different over there in South America, but we'll keep an eye on it. I'm curious what he'll do. I mean, my gut tells me that he's not going to accept this in the way that, someone who doesn't have money would accept it. I think he'll probably end up doing something very charitable with this. At least that's what you would imagine he would do. I don't know what the tax ramifications of this are. You accept this money, you got to pay taxes on it. So I don't know if he wants to pay the taxes on that as well. So I'm curious again how this will all shape up. And obviously the right thing to do would be to create some kind of a charitable organization that can be run and offer and help all of those who are in need there over in Brazil.
He's also, I think, going to get like all the real estate and everything too. So he may have to sell things that might even be worth even more by the end of it. So it's definitely an interesting story.
It is. Let's dive into this U.S. men's national team game here tonight. Again, me and Ryan will be making our way there here in a couple hours towards Columbus. We'll be there again, third row at Laura.com field as they take on Japan here tonight. Hey, in their history, they have 1 win, 0 draws, 2 losses. In those games they've already met, 4 goals, 7 goals against. The last time these two teams met was back in September 23rd of 2022, where they lost 2-0. And so the U.S. men's national team has not fared well against Japan in their history. Tonight's game, though, expected 79 degrees at kickoff. It'll drop into the 40s, late 40s, maybe early, low 50s into the early evening. Again, USA fell 2-0 here on Saturday to South Korea. They did so. We talked about that in a fashion that doesn't make you all excited about tonight's game if you are used to watching what we watched here on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I'm excited not only to be there in, I love soccer. I love being there, and Columbus CrewLower.com field is a fantastic soccer venue here in the United States. So I'm excited to get back there, but I don't want to allude to what I want to see on the field because we do have a question of the day about that just coming up here in the near future. So I don't want to allude too much, but I'm just excited to be there, experience the whole environment. I know Pochettino has mentioned that he wants this U.S. soccer environments to feel like college football. And I'm sorry, Poch, you're just not going to quite exactly get that, but I do say the World Cup qualifier is a different animal, and I'm sure the World Cup will be a different animal because they'll be in bigger stadiums, but I'm excited to be there. I just want to see a little bit of fight from the team today. I want to see them be a little bit more organized. I absolutely want to see Christian Pulisic play, that close. But I'm excited. I just want to see some heart from the guys tonight and have a good time. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Projected starting lineup here tonight, 4-2-3-1 here for the U.S. men's national team.
It's probably their go-to formation going forward.
Freeze will be your keeper tonight. Dest, Richards, Ream, Arston, Adams, De La Torre, Weah, Luna, Pulisic, and Balogun. That is your projected lineup. Now, granted, we saw a completely different lineup on Saturday. We saw Josh Sargent get the nod to start that game. He was really ineffective in that game from the get-go. Pulisic also was ineffective in that game. And again, we talked about that yesterday, about putting him out wide. I am hopeful that today we will see a much different lineup with Pulisic in the middle of the field. And I keep talking about this because, again, if you put Sargent and Balogun up top, or put, my gut tells me that I'd rather see Sargent up top of that striker role, maybe push a Balogun out wide. You could, again, and the cool thing about this is that they can be interchangeable. Right, so you could start a Sargent just based on where he's been in his club these last few weeks. I feel like Sargent is a much better option as a striker today. But again, you could put Balogun there. But I think if you put Pulisic right below them, first off, how much what I'm looking for here.
Better he's on the ball.
Well, how much attention that Pulisic is going to get too. He's going to get a significant amount of attention, right? He is we heard it yesterday. We were talking with the NC State's head coach Mark Hubbard about how Donovan Phillips is going to gain a lot of attention because of how good he is. Pulisic is going to gain a ton of attention. He's going to oftentimes be double teamed in a lot of situations in the middle of the park. And so, what does that mean? That means another player has more time and more space.
Yeah.
And so, what you're trying to do with a Pulisic is you're trying to draw people into him. And if you do this right, you'll gain enough momentum and push the ball out wide and create chances that you wouldn't have otherwise created. Having Pulisic out wide, that's a defender's dream. We'll just wait. I mean, it's a terrible plan. Pulisic is not a Son. Son plays up top. Pulisic is a creative player. You want creative players on the ball. Lionel Messi is a creative player. Where does he play? Yes, he does play out wide, but what you'll see, he'll drop down as a holding midfielder, grab the ball down in his defensive third, and work the ball up the field, and he'll find a way to score a goal, all starting from the 30 yards from goal. And so we need to see that from Pulisic.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And I alluded to this the other day when the U.S. didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup. During that World Cup qualifying run, they looked the best when Pulisic was the number 10. He was in the middle. And I think that's something that we need to get back to a little bit. I even looked during COVID, Christian Pulisic with Chelsea, he was better off in the middle, even though he played out wide sometimes, but he was better in the middle. And I think that's something that we need to exploit. And you can also start a Brendan Aronson out wide if you want to. You can start a Diego Luna out wide if you want to. But I think if you put Pulisic in the middle, that's a strong midfield, I think, because you would have a Tyler Adams underneath him, or maybe a Weston McKennie or Yunus Musa kind of playing as that number 8, more that box-to-box role. And just having Pulisic, he's better on the ball. He's got better composure on the ball. He's just an overall better player. And you want your best player in the middle of the field if he can play there. And that's exactly what you have. And I just decided to, just for fun here, I searched up the starting 11 from when I went. You want to know who the striker was on that day against El Salvador in 2022? Take a wild guess.
Hang on. Is he the CL Sounders forward?
I honestly don't even know who he plays for. It's not Jordan Morris. I'll tell
I
you
was
that.
thinking of Jordan Morris. I was thinking of.
That was not him.
So, who was the striker?
He's an MLS guy, though.
He's an MLS guy. Oh, Altidore?
No, Jesus Ferreira.
Oh.
Yeah, and I remember he missed some big chances in that game. And then you want to know who came on that day? Jesse Zardes.
Oh, yeah, Zardes. Former Columbus Crew guy. You know, here's my thing. This is now, I think, 3 years ago. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. We were covering a high school soccer game here in Michigan. It was Catholic Central taking on Clarkston.
Pretty good game.
It was a very good game. And I remember at that time, there was a player who was number 2 in the Mr. Soccer, it was between Kyle Pearson and this player, Hodgson, over at, I think, Carson.
Carson Hodgson?
Yeah, Carson Hodgson over at Clarkston.
I'm going to correct you on that one.
Am I wrong?
That's an Anchor Bay kid. That's
that's Hodgson. Who am I? I'm trying to think of who it was in 2023. Doesn't matter. It was 2022. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying, though, is the player on Clarkston in this game, the coach thought it was a good idea to take this player who was known for being a central midfielder and put him out wide. It made him irrelevant in that game. They lost that game. This is a team that should have won that game. They had all of the pieces to win that game, and ultimately they didn't. And again, Kyle Pearson went on. They won that game. They ended up losing in the state semifinal game to Rockford, who went on and lost in the state finals to Rochester Adams. And so, but if I look at that game for what it was, we have a coach that was overthinking the player. Oh, we're going to do something over here. We're going to put the player out wide, and again, that player became irrelevant. And so, when you put players who are creative, who are designed to be on the ball, who have the skill set like Pulisic, you have got to find a way to get them on the ball as much as possible. And the biggest challenge with that, too, is players oftentimes, who have those creative moments also sometimes hang on the ball too long, and it can cost you. Yeah. It can hurt you. And you'll see that all the time with players like Pulisic, like Messi. They'll get the ball in their third, they'll cough it up, and then the next thing you know, they have a goal. They give up a goal. It's a challenge. But I'd rather have that player making those decisions on the ball 90% of the time than them sitting off in left field over there, not ever getting the ball. Yeah, and that's the problem you have when you put a player out like Pulisic out wide. They'll never see a ball in a lot of these cases. And it's a shame. And so I'm hopeful tonight we'll see Pulisic in the middle of the park. We'll hopefully see him more active, dropping low, becoming a holding midfielder at times, getting that ball. And again, the thing about soccer is everything is interchangeable. This isn't like you are a guard or a point guard in basketball where all you are is a point guard. No, you are going to be a center midfielder. You're going to be a left midfielder. You're going to be a striker. You're going to be a holding mid. You're going to even be a right back or a left back in some scenarios based on how the game is going. But we need to see Pulisic in the middle of the park on a consistent basis with the ball at his feet.
Yeah,
and he's got to rely on his teammates. And that's another challenge I think Pulisic is facing in his world here today. We are going to step aside. We come back. We're going to talk some more about U.S. men's national team. This time, again, Mauricio Pochettino. He likes to say some things. We'll dive into that here. You're watching episode number 154 here on this Tuesday morning.
Are you ready to create unforgettable moments for your audience? NSN offers professional live streaming and full broadcast services tailored to your needs. From high-quality production to exceptional coverage, we ensure your game or event becomes a spectacle to remember. Book your next game with us today. Call 586-304-4405 to schedule your broadcast and let NSN bring the action to life like never before.
Welcome back here into Inside the Game. And I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Ryan Glinsky. The player's name, though, is Richie Ludwig, by the way.
Okay.
That's
he played at the Macomb Union this summer, I think.
He did. Yeah. Again, but that was a scenario where, again, we overthink things. And I think that's indicative of first things first, very good team that Clarkson was that year. Arguably one of the best teams in the state. They were highly ranked. Sebi Roy was also a player on that team. Sebi Roy became Mr. Soccer the following year, right? And so you've got coaches that overthink, and I'm guilty of it. As a former coach, I would oftentimes overthink what we should be doing, especially when you're losing, especially when you are up against it. Mauricio Pochettino is up against it right now. Whether we like it or not, he is. You know, we live in a culture where if you don't win for us, what did you do for me lately? Right? If you are in sales, if you haven't sold anything, you're not a good salesperson today, right? You have to go out and sell something. If you're a forward and you haven't scored a goal recently, you're not good enough for us right now. You haven't scored a goal. Or you get an assist. If you're a goalkeeper, right? The last game you lost. We can talk about all day long about Matt Freese. Matt Freese lost 2-0 on Saturday. Now, he had a big save that as a result of, you saw that one save he made that ultimately it was called offside. But what a great save he made on Son. Right. Obviously, he also had that PK. That would have been a PK if he, but you could argue that was a great save by him in that moment. Stood on his head. But he let 2 goals in. My dad said this as a goalkeeper. I was a goalie. My dad always said, he goes, John, you're either the GOAT or you're the hero. Now, not the GOAT in the same way that we're thinking of, right? The greatest of all time. No, you're more like the donkey.
Okay.
Right?
I was wondering.
You're either, everyone's looking at you going, man, that was terrible, or you're a hero. Regardless of how it all played out, regardless of how well you played in that game.
Yeah, I was really wondering where you're going. GOAT or hero?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, we changed, greatest of all time is what GOAT means. But in the terminology that my dad was saying to me back when I was a teenager, it was more like, hey, you're a donkey. You're the jackass. You're the jackass or you're the hero. I'm
gonna disagree with you a little bit here. I think Pochettino should be up against it. However, I don't think he is. I firmly believe that he's not against it because of.
Well, you're saying the way he's acting.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm saying, but the way that he is responding in this message, this right here is first off, you are damaging your country and damaging your players. We need to be positive. We need to be all together because the country deserves that. We are all on one side trying to help arrive at the World Cup in the best condition and be competitive. To do something that makes our fans proud. I do not agree with this statement.
Yeah,
not on any level. I'm sorry, but what are we saying here? Being positive about what? Okay, if I even on one ounce of my being agree with this, we all need to be positive. What are the positives from this weekend? What are the positives from Saturday? That's the first question I'm going to ask anybody. What is the positives from Saturday? What are they?
I think the positive is we know what the bar will be going into the World Cup. That's what I think the bar is. And
What's the bar?
I think not
Like
the
our bar or the bar?
what our expectations for this team are.
Oh, so for us, we've learned that the least
They're not that good.
possible outcome is our positive.
Like that's the positive is we know this team.
But that's not
isn't
what
that
he's
good.
saying, though. He's not. He's saying we need to be positive right now about this team. So my question is what is there to be positive about? If we really break this statement down, first and foremost, I think we need to add like crying into this, or whining, like a whining sound. We need to get him some cheese.
Yeah, I don't think we have a crying.
But again, I read this statement. It's like, well, guys, first off, if this is affecting your ability to play soccer, then what the hell? If any of the players out there are listening to us, well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. But number two, why are you paying attention?
Yeah,
If
why do you care what
as-
we say?
If you are as good as you think you are, then just go out there and play. You don't need to hear me say anything about it. But the fact that Pochettino is even here making this statement, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. To be positive, you just got smoked. It could have been 4-0. It could have been 4-0. We didn't score a single goal.
No,
And so, yes, we could argue there was a scrum there at the end. That would have been a consolation goal if it would have gone in. But that was your best chance in the entire game. Positive. What's the positive we can take away? Well, we can positively say that Diego Luna has no business being in the middle of the field.
yeah.
Okay, that's positive. That's a negative, though. It's not really a positive. It's a negative, right? What else we learned? We also learned that we have not learned how to defend as a unit. Positively learned that we do not know how to defend as a unit. Now, why is that? Well, probably because we have some players in there. Even Tim Ream said it in these post-game interviews, like, hey, we have to learn to play together better. That's what we got to learn. Okay, great. Is that really a positive, though? I don't know if that's a positive. I mean, me as a coach, when I learned something during a game that was a teachable moment, I didn't consider that a positive. I considered it constructive. I considered it an opportunity to learn. It's not a positive. You think Dan Campbell is going after the Lions on Sunday going, man, well, that was a positive outcome. No, I mean, was he frustrated? He was absolutely frustrated. He said he was frustrated, but he also said that we're going to take what we learned from this game and we're going to get better. But he wasn't like, let's take the positives out of this.
What Pochettino should have done is taken the Dan Campbell press conference, which I know was a little bit later, but the Dan Campbell press conference where Campbell says, everything can be fixed, but we need to be 1,000% better. And that's what Pochettino should have said instead of, let's be positive, guys. Let's kumbaya. Let's be happy, everyone. And I think that, sure, I mean, I don't really think there's a positive. Maybe he can find certain positives through the game, and that's, why he's a manager and not us. But this game, I think Japan, if the only positive that I can take away is if we don't get killed here is if they play tight is they take those mistakes from Saturday and implement them and correct them today. Tonight, if they're able to do that, I would take that as a positive. If they are able to defend a little bit better, if we see the starting lineup adjustments where Diego Luna is not in the middle, whether that's Pulisic or someone else in the middle, as long as Diego Luna is not in the middle, that's what I think we can take away as a positive. If maybe he's referring to it as we found the mistakes and we can fix them, but in this message, he doesn't really allude to that. So we'll have to see what happens tonight.
Yeah, no, he doesn't allude to it at all. What's the question of the day?
Question of the day I came up with yesterday, but before we get into that, make sure you guys check out Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at NSN. Make sure you use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of your order, or scan that QR code and visit saltathletic.com today. But question of the day. What is the number one thing that you're looking for from the USA tonight against Japan?
It's a great question. Obviously, we're gonna be there like in person. So, the number one thing I'm looking for, and we talked about it yesterday, it's the intangibles. Okay, it's the things that we're not seeing. Like when I see and look at Pulisic after a missed opportunity, the defeat that I see on his face. I feel like these players are walking out onto the field before the game and they feel defeated. They look defeated. And again, that could be for many reasons. This does not look like a team inspired. And so for me, I want to see a team that from the moment they walk onto the field and to the moment they walk off the field, they have shown in every aspect of their being that they want to be there. And more importantly, that they're going to give it their all. You can see that. I'm not seeing that in anything. We could talk all day long about outcomes. We can talk all day long about results. We can talk all day long about a player here, a player there. At the end of the day, the things that we've been talking about for the last 6 months, it feels like, is a lack of identity. And that identity has nothing to do with talent and everything to do with how these players handle and carry themselves on and off the field. And what I want from them tonight is to start showing that they actually give a shit about the outcome before the game even starts and after the game, and start to show some emotion. To sit here after a game and hearing Tim Ream talk about how, we thought we fared well. We fixed it in the second half. Like, no, you should be pissed.
Yeah.
There should be emotion. I'm not seeing any emotion. I'm not seeing anything. And as a fan of the game, that's all we want. I mean, at least with Aaron Rodgers, you get like the emotion of his knuckleheadness, but you can at least he loves to play.
Yeah.
I don't doubt. I mean, the knuckleheadness of Terrell Owens over the years, Draymond Green, you at least know they wanted to be there. Yeah, maybe they didn't want to talk to a camera at the end of the game, but they at least wanted to be there. I want to see that these guys actually want to be there, and I want to see emotion from them. So I said that a lot, but at the end of the day, the word we're looking for is the intangible. We need to see the intangibles, and they need to be coming out in buckets right now. That's what we need to see. And again, I don't care about the win or the loss. I need to see that, because at least then, that's something we can build on. I can't build on Saturday. There's nothing from Saturday that I can build on as a fan or as someone who's watched this team for my entire life. And so we need something that can build on, and the intangibles is something we can absolutely build on.
Yeah, I think you kind of stole my answer, but it seemed like since 2020
like the Mentos commercial.
and in 2022, it seemed like this team in the World Cup had a lot of fight. They all wanted to be there. They all wanted to compete. And, outside the Netherlands game, I mean, we were in every single group stage match, and we should have beat Wales. England, that game was just boring as all could be. But Iran, they had to dig out. Their backs were against the wall. They know they needed 3 points, and they came away with it. Pulisic got hit in a spot that I don't even want to get hit in to score that goal. And that's what happened. And it seemed like ever since then, the mess with Berhalter, the whole Copa America meltdown a year ago, since then we've lost our edge. And that's what has made the United States... Look, let's be real. In the grand scheme of things, the U.S. men's national team in soccer, unless we fast forward 20 years where we get better, because we have the resources and the money to do so, but outside of that, we will never be a top 10 nation when it comes to soccer in the nation or in the world. We just won't, because the other countries are so much more advanced than us. They have less sports to compete with. Like we have the likes of football, basketball, and baseball, where soccer is kind of like the secondary sport for everyone. But we have really lost our edge, and that's what has made the U.S. over our entire history so tough to play against. We care so much in terms of we're just going to try to outwork you and see what happens. We're going to make this a slugfest. We are going to make this as difficult as it can. And it seems like ever since last summer, we have lost that edge, and we really have, and we need to somehow gain that back, because we have the World Cup here. We're hosting it. We have the whole world. We have billions and billions of people tuning in to watch us, not to watch us play, but on the World Cup. We have so many eyes on it, and we can't be embarrassed. We need to somehow gain that edge back. If we go out and lose 2-0, but we have fight in it, we have chances in it, and we give up 2 goals on 2 chances, and they're like counterattacking goals, however, but we look better as a unit. We fight hard. Tackles are flying in. I'm not going to be mad at that at all. I just want to see some fight, and most importantly, I want to see whether it's Christian Pulisic. In a video I made yesterday of Tyler Adams, I need to identify our captain. I need to identify our leader tonight. That's the most important thing I need to see is we identify who our captain is, who our leader is going forward.
It's well said. Ryan and I will be making our way here shortly to Columbus, Ohio. To keep a track of us on social, we'll be posting videos throughout we might do a little bit more videos than we normally do today in regards to that. We will probably even go live maybe on the road here for TikTok. Why not, right? Why not go a little live here on the road? But either way, we're excited to have you part of this. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram, or wherever you do all your social media. We are also live on Roku TV, so you can watch us on your browser or on your TV. But we are again excited to have you a part of what we're doing. Hey, tomorrow we have a great show lined up for you as well. 155 coming your way. We got a great guest.
We just might be a little tired.
We might be a little tired. Wake Forest head coach Barry Musa will be joining us here tomorrow on the show. We just booked another guest here for Thursday in Lewis Robinson, the women's head coach at Western Michigan University. So he'll join us as well. So a lot of great guests. We did interview Mark Hubbard yesterday from NC State. We might have that episode, interview show up here tomorrow as part of our broadcast. So we can maybe take a nap for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes. Come on.
So we do have a question coming in, though, from on TikTok. We'll get this here real quick before we end the show. What other all-star teams in the U.S. do you take guys from lower leagues to promote said leagues? What other all-star teams in the USA do they take guys from lower leagues to promote said leagues? They don't.
I'm confused.
What other all-star teams in the USA do they take guys from lower leagues to promote those leagues?
Oh, I think what he's trying to say is I think what he's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what I'm inferring here is we look at the USA team today, like the roster that we'll see today, and they're using MLS players, and maybe he thinks MLS is an inferior league. To answer your question, what's his name? Her name?
It's Codog15.
Well, Codog.
Cool name, by the way.
Yeah, that's a fantastic name. Make sure you get in the chat like every single day, because I would like to say Codog. Here, I'll give you a horn too. But look at Codog. We don't have in every other league here in America. We're the top league, so we're not taking for NBA, for example. Actually, we'll say the NFL. In NFL, for example, we're not taking players from the CFL to promote our league. We're just not, because we have everything ingrown. Look at the NBA. We're not taking players. Well, we're not taking players in the leagues overseas to promote the NBA, because we have all the best international players in the NBA, and we have all of our best homegrown talent in the best league in the world. Soccer, it's different. We don't have the best leagues. We just don't. And our nation is well behind the top leagues. MLS is well behind the top leagues, so that we can't. That's like we just can't use any other leagues to promote it, because everything here is homegrown.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that.
I hope that's what he was inferring.
Well, I would imagine, because there's another way to look at it. Because again, the NBA is not taking players from the G League.
No, God,
right? So
no.
and the NHL is not taking it from the minor. So
the only exception is when it comes to the dunk contest, and they bring Mac McClung, who's in the G League because he's a fantastic dunker, and they let's give him a 10-day contract for the Lakers. But that 10-day contract just happens to be when the dunk contest is. So that's the only other time that's acceptable.
Doesn't count. Hey, that'll wrap up episode 154. We'll be back at it again here tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. That's Ryan Glinsky. I'm Jonathan Turner. We thank you for stopping on by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your friends and family. And don't forget to follow us here today as we make our way to Columbus, Ohio for the U.S. men's national team as they take on Japan. See you tomorrow morning here on episode 155. From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.